Assalamu alaikum. In our previous video, we have discussed about non-neoplastic polyps of the colon and rectum. Now, in this video, we will discuss neoplastic polyps in detail. Neoplastic polyps of colon are of different types, including adenomas, carcinomas, neuroendocrine tumors, stromal tumors, lymphomas, and metastatic tumors. Out of all these neoplastic polyps, the most important one are adenomas. In this video, we will discuss adenomas in detail. Adenomas are actually intraepithelial neoplasms and they range in size from very small lesions to large lesions. If adenomas are small in size, then they are mostly pedunculated, and if they are large in size, then they are mostly sessile. In case of adenomas, there is slight male predominance, that they are slightly more common in males as compared to females, and they are very common in Western world. In the West, about 40 to 50% of the individuals suffer from adenomas by the age of 60 years. These adenomas have a chance that they can convert into adenocarcinomas and they can cause malignancy. So if a person is suffering from adenoma, there should be proper surveillance through colonoscopy so that we can detect that whether adenoma has converted into adenocarcinoma or not. In colorectal adenomas, epithelial dysplasia is very common. This epithelial dysplasia can be low grade or high grade, and if this epithelial dysplasia is present, then it can lead to adenocarcinoma. So as we have discussed previously, there should be proper surveillance through colonoscopy in order to minimize the chances of colorectal adenocarcinoma. Mostly these adenomas of the colon are silent and they do not produce any signs and symptoms clinically. But sometimes if they are large and pedunculated, then they can cause occult bleeding, due to which there is anemia. Some of the adenomas are secretory and they causes secretion of proteins and potassium, due to which hypoproteinemic hypokalemia occurs. Now, what is the morphology of these colorectal adenomas? The size of these tumors range from 0.3 to 10 centimeter. If they are small in size, then they are mostly pedunculated, and if they are large, they are mostly sessile. Now, here we can see a colonic adenoma. This is a colonic adenoma. When we see at the surface of this colonic adenoma, then we can see that there is velvety appearance or raspberry-like appearance. So on gross appearance, these tumors appear as velvety or raspberry-like surface. On histological appearance, here we can see a peduncle. So this is the pedunculated adenoma. Here is a peduncle, which is actually fibromuscular stroma in which blood vessels are present. Here we can see the epithelium of the adenoma. This is the epithelium, and here we can see the presence of glands. These are actually crypts. Crypts are present. So this is the histological appearance of colonic adenoma. Now, dysplasia is an important hallmark of colonic adenoma. Here in this diagram we can see dysplasia. This is the normal epithelium, and this normal epithelium can be compared to the dysplastic epithelium here. This is the dysplastic epithelium. There are certain important points which are seen in dysplasia. First of all, there is increase in the number of nuclei. Here we can see that there is increase in the number of nuclei, which is known as stratification, nuclear stratification. So there is nuclear stratification, there is elongation of the nuclei. Nuclei have become hyperchromatic. There is high nuclear to cytoplasm ratio, and there is decrease in the number of goblet cells. We can see that there are many goblet cells, but in this epithelium, dysplastic epithelium, the number of goblet cells is decreased. So this is dysplasia, which is very commonly seen in colonic adenomas. Now, on the basis of the architecture, colonic adenomas have been divided into three types: tubular adenomas, tubulovillous adenomas, and villous adenomas. These three types can be differentiated histologically. Here in this diagram, this is a tubular adenoma. As the name suggests, the tubular adenoma, in the tubular adenoma, the cells are arranged, or the crypts are arranged in the form of tubules or glands. Here we can see these are the crypts, and these crypts are forming small glands or tubules. So this is the tubular adenoma. Tubular adenomas are mostly small in size and they are pedunculated. And in case of tubular adenoma, there is less chances of invasion. Here in this histological diagram, we can see that there is active inflammation going on. Sometimes in case of tubular adenomas, active inflammation is present, which can be detected by the presence of dilatation of these crypts. We can see that here there is dilatation of the crypt and the crypt has ruptured. So dilated crypts and ruptured crypts show that active inflammation is going on. So this is the tubular adenoma. Next type of adenoma is the villus adenoma. In villus adenomas are mostly sessile and they are mostly large in size as compared to tubular adenomas. When we look histologically, then we see that invasions are more common, or foci of invasion are more frequent in case of villus adenomas as compared to tubular adenomas. In villus adenomas, the cells are arranged in the form of villi. Here we can see long elongated villi are present. Normally there are no villi in colon. Villi are characteristic of small intestine, but in case of villus adenomas, the cells are arranged in the form of villi, which can be seen here. So these are the two types of colonic adenomas. This is the tubular adenomas and these are the villus adenomas. The third type is known as tubulovillous adenoma. In tubulovillous adenomas, both tubules as well as villi are present. Then there is another type of colonic adenoma, which is known as sessile serrated adenoma. These sessile serrated adenomas histologically resemble to that of hyperplastic polyps. We have discussed in our previous video hyperplastic polyps. Hyperplastic polyps are actually non-neoplastic polyps of the large intestine. Sessile serrated adenomas must be differentiated histologically from hyperplastic polyps because hyperplastic polyps are very benign lesions, and in this case no special treatment is required. But in case of sessile serrated adenomas, special treatment is required because they can lead to cancer. So these two lesions must be differentiated. There are some differences present in between hyperplastic polyps and sessile serrated adenomas. Sessile serrated adenomas are more common on the right side of the colon, whereas hyperplastic polyps mostly occur on the left side of the colon. In case of hyperplastic polyps, there are no genetic associations, but in case of sessile serrated adenomas, there are associations. Some genetic associations are present, which include microsatellite instability, which occur due to DNA mismatch repair genes, and they causes predisposition to mutation. Then previously we have discussed that in case of hyperplastic polyps, serrations are present in the crypts, and in case of hyperplastic polyps, serrations are mostly present in the upper third part of the crypt. However, in case of sessile serrated adenomas, serrations are present up to the base of the crypts and crypts are dilated laterally. Here this is the histological diagram which is showing a sessile serrated adenoma. Here we can see that this is a crypt and these are the serrations present. And we can see that these serrations are present throughout the crypt up to the base of the crypt. Crypt is dilated and it is dilated laterally. Here we can see that the crypt is dilated laterally. So this is the sessile serrated adenoma. Now we will see all these lesions in diagrams. So this is a tubular adenoma, colonic tubular adenoma. We know that colonic tubular adenomas are pedunculated and these are small lesions. So here we can see the peduncle. This is a small lesion which is present on the mucosa. So this is a colonic tubular adenoma. This is the histological presentation of tubular adenoma. This is the tubular adenoma. This is the small stalk of the tubular adenoma. because we know that tubular adenomas are pedunculated. This is a normal epithelium, and here we can see that tubular adenoma is present. This epithelium has become hyperplastic. We can see glands, crypts are arranged in the form of glands or tubules, as this is a tubular adenoma, and there is there is a there are hyperchromatic nuclei, high NC ratio, which is showing dysplasia. So this is a small tubular adenoma. This is again the gross appearance of tubular adenoma. This is again the tubular adenoma. We can clearly see the hyperchromatasia and nuclear crowding, and the crypts are arranged in the form of tubules and glands. This is a diagram which is showing dysplasia. This is the normal epithelium, and abruptly this normal epithelium is converting into dysplastic epithelium. We can clearly show the difference that in normal epithelium there is increase in the number of goblet cells. However, in dysplastic epithelium, goblet cells have been decreased in number. Then there is a nuclear stratification, increase in the number of nuclei. Nuclei have become hyperchromatic and they have become elongated. So this is a diagram which is showing dysplasia, which is very common in colonic adenomas. This is again dysplasia. We can see that there is decrease in the number of goblet cells. Nuclei have become hyperchromatic. Nuclei have become elongated, and there is stratification of the nuclei. This is the gross appearance of villus adenoma. This is the normal mucosa of the colon, and this is a villus adenoma. We can see small villi are present here. So this is a villus adenoma. These are finger-like projections. This is again a villus adenoma which is covering whole of the circumference of the intestine. This is the villus adenoma which is converting into adenocarcinoma. We can say that it is converted into adenocarcinoma because of the presence of this surface hemorrhage. We can see then on the surface of this adenoma a hemorrhage is present, which indicates that it has been converted into adenocarcinoma. So this is a adenocarcinoma. This is a tubulovillous adenoma, which is showing nuclear stratification and elongated nuclei and high nuclear to cytoplasm ratio. Actually, it is showing dysplasia. This is again a tubulovillous adenoma. This is a tubulovillous adenoma with high grade dysplasia. We can see nuclear stratification, hyperchromatic nuclei, nuclear elongation, and high NC ratio. Now there is another type of colonic adenomas, which is known as intramucosal carcinoma. Actually, intramucosal carcinoma occur when the dysplastic epithelium breaches the basement membrane and it invades into the lamina propria or into the muscularis mucosae. This is known as intramucosal carcinoma or carcinoma in situ. In this histological diagram, we can see intramucosal carcinoma or carcinoma in situ, in which the dysplastic epithelium has breached the basement membrane and it has entered into the lamina propria. This is a dysplastic epithelium which has entered into the lamina propria. So it is the intramucosal carcinoma. Sometimes this dysplastic epithelium, after breachment through the lamina propria and muscularis mucosa, enter into the submucosae. When it enters into the submucosa, then it becomes invasive carcinoma or T1. When it is present within the mucosa, then it is carcinoma in situ. But when it breaches the mucosa and enters into the submucosa, then it is carcinoma in situ, or it is invasive adenocarcinoma. Then it is T1, not carcinoma in situ, it is T1, and it is known as invasive adenocarcinoma. This is again intramucosal carcinoma. We can see that this dysplastic epithelium is present within the mucosa. It has not entered into the submucosa, so this is intramucosal carcinoma or intramucosal adenocarcinoma. Actually, the size of the lesion is also important characteristic which tells us about the risk of malignancy. If the adenoma is small in size, that is less than 1 centimeter, then there are less chances of malignancy. But if the lesion is larger in size, for example it is up to 4 centimeter in diameter, then there are 40% of chances that it will convert into adenocarcinoma. So this is all about colonic adenomas. In our next video, we will cover the topic of familial adenomatous polyposis. Thank you.